Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday, October 17th, day 17 of DadPooLoWeen. How's everyone doing out there? How's your month going? How's your start of your week going? Hope it's starting out good for you guys. I can't believe we're this far into the month and appreciate you guys for sticking with this and tuning in and loving what's going on so far. I'm amazed at myself that I've been so committed to getting this done, not just for you, but for myself. And I appreciate the support that you guys have shown me by coming into the streams, by leaving comments. It's fabulous. I love it. So while you're here, while I got your attention, before we get into the next movie, if you guys haven't possibly guessed it by my avatar by now, before I get into it, just, if you could just drop a like on the video, a subscribe, follow, depending on what platform you're watching this right now, and share it out. The more eyes on this, the bigger the community gets. And hit those links in the description. Check out my Linktree. There's my Discord in there. There's a merch option. So yeah, you'll be able to see all my channels, all the TikTok channel, the YouTube, which you're on now, the Twitch, which you could be seeing this on, Twitter X, and Facebook. So yes, come on, come join the party, come join the fun. This is only going to get better as each day goes on, and I can't believe I'm limiting. Like, there's 31 days of Halloween, and I know so many movies are going to be left off this list. But again, these are movies that I watch, that I'm going to watch this year during October. That list could change next year, depending on mood, what's available. Some of it could change, some of it could be moved up, who knows. But definitely turn that notification bell on to stick around for the journey. We got some good series coming up in the next few months. But we're all here today because it's day 17. And yes, my friends, we're talking about Scream. Oh man, another Wes Craven masterpiece. Just like how yesterday I talked about Jordan Peele having, you could tell, his own touch on movies along with Tarantino. You just know it's a Wes Craven movie. This guy, God rest his soul, really changed not only horror, but he changed cinema with his risky techniques and risky moves, his decision making. Horror wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Wes Craven. I know everyone says John Carpenter, and that's great. He's up there too as well. And Stephen King with the story side and the book side. But Wes Craven is just he's a mastermind. This movie was directed by Wes Craven, written by Kevin Williamson. Came out December 20th, 1996, so another just before the Christmas holiday movie. It's about 111 minutes long. Budget's around $15 million. Total box office was $173 million. Now you might say that's not a lot, but if you look into the totality of it all, Scream became a successful, important franchise. Again, not just for horror, but for cinema as well. And we'll touch on the sequels that were made and the TV series, but let's talk about Scream. Let's talk about the cast Ooh, yeah, David Arquette as Dewey. Nev Campbell as Sidney Prescott. Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher. Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers. Rose McGowan as Tatum Riley. Jamie Kennedy as Randy. Skeet Ulrich as Billy Loomis. And Drew Barrymore as Casey Becker. And then you have Roger L. Jackson, who plays the voice of Ghostface. Perfect cast for a great, damn near perfect movie, if not a perfect movie. So let's get into the plot of this. I can't stop throwing out the adjectives to describe this and the words. It's just, I watched it again just recently, and it still hits you the same whether you watched it one time or 100 times. It's just that good of a movie, and I'm trying to figure out how people don't like the movie. It's mind-boggling. But again, film is subjective. We all have our opinions. It may not be for everybody. So Scream takes place in a small town of Woodsboro, California, where high school student Casey Becker is home alone when she receives a phone call from an unknown person. They discuss horror films until the caller turns sadistic, threatening her life and revealing that her boyfriend Steve is restrained on her patio. The caller demands she answers questions about horror films to save his life, but she gives an incorrect answer about Friday the 13th, which this movie came out in 96. Friday the 13th came out in 1980. If people hadn't seen Friday the 13th and they watched this movie, they were kind of spoiled when he asked who's the killer of Friday the 13th. And she's like, Jason. And he's like, wrong answer. Mrs. Voorhees was the killer. Jason didn't come around to the sequel. So people that didn't see that movie were probably like an utter, like, what? But again, a 16-year-old movie, you probably should have seen it already. So Steve is killed because she got the answer wrong. He's gutted, guts are hanging out as he sits tied up in that chair on the patio. Casey attempts to escape the house, but is killed by someone wearing what is later called the Ghostface costume. As she's running around the outside of the house being chased by this killer, her parents are driving up. She's choked so hard it's damaged her voice box so she can barely scream, call out for her mom, who is literally probably 20, 25 feet away at the front door. The parents notice there's something wrong. Father tells the mom to call the cops, and then you can hear Casey on the phone being stabbed and dragged. And her mother's on the end of the phone, and she's listening, and she's in terror. The father tells the mom to go to the neighbor's house, call the cops, and as she opens the door, the mom screams, and there's Casey hanging from a tree, disemboweled. The mom just screams, and there's the opener. Such an intense opener of a movie. As a result of the murder, news media have descended on the town as a police investigation begins. Teenager Sidney Prescott struggles with the impending first anniversary of the rape and murder of her mother Maureen by Cotton Weary. The trauma has made her unable to consummate her relationship with her boyfriend Billy Loomis. As her father is traveling for work, Sidney waits home alone for her best friend Tatum Riley. She receives a call taunting her about her mother's death and is attacked by Ghostface, who disappears just before Billy comes through her window. What a coincidence. However, she becomes suspicious when he drops his cell phone, and then he's arrested by Deputy Sheriff Dewey Riley, which is Tatum's brother. At the police station, Sydney is confronted by Gail Weathers, who claims that her mother had several affairs, including one with Cotton, and that he was wrongly accused of her murder. Sydney ends up punching her in the face. Epic punch. And then it pans to Sydney at Tatum's house, and then the phone rings, and the mother answers. Tatum's mother answers the phone, gives it to Sydney, and it's Ghostface taunting her again. Eventually, the calls are traced back to her father's phone, Sydney's father's phone, but the police are unable to locate. After Billy is released, he encounters Sydney at school and further upsets her by comparing his mom not being there to Sydney's mom not being alive, which is an unfair comparison, and even he admits it's a bad analogy. After school gets suspended by the principal, who is played by Henry Winkler. Love that dude. Principal Hembry is stabbed to death in his office. But before that, we get another nod, another Wes Craven nod. One of many nods, which I'll go over in a second. But one, here's the picture of the janitor dressed in the original '84 Freddy costume, and his name is Fred. Just another way that that Wes Craven pays homage to horror and his movies. So to celebrate school closure, Stu Macher decides to throw a party. Who is Tatum's boyfriend? The party is at his secluded home out in the country. Dewey and Gail keep watch of the party in case the killer strikes again. As fellow high schooler Randy Meeks details the rules of surviving a horror film, Tatum goes out to the garage to get more beer. She's confronted by the killer. And she is killed as well. She tries to escape out the garage door, like little what do you call it? Maybe like a pet door or something. Ghostface just crushes her with the garage door and, smashes her head in. After discovering Hembry's murder, most of the partygoers leave to see his hanging body, nearly running over Dewey and Gail and inadvertently leading them to Neil's hidden car. Billy arrives at the house to reconcile with Sydney, and they finally do the deed. Billy gets what he wants because he's in control of this horror movie, and he knows the rules. He knows that if Sydney's not a virgin, she has no chance of winning, as mostly virgins do survive in the horror movie. Very smart by Billy. So afterward, they are suddenly attacked. Billy's suddenly attacked by Ghostface in front of Sydney. He stabs several times, and he's presumed to be dead. As Sydney evades Ghostface, who then kills Gail's cameraman because Gail placed the camera inside the house. The camera's on a 30-second delay, so the cameraman's like, "Oh shoot, it's a delay," so he's not really in the house with Randy right behind him while Randy's kind of drunk on the couch. That's when Gail's cameraman gets his throat slit. Very graphic scene. And then he stabs Dewey when he returns. You can see Dewey come out the door, and you can immediately sense there's something wrong. And then he falls forward. There's a knife in his back. Ghostface takes the knife out of out of his back. Gale, attempting to flee in her van, crashes and is knocked unconscious. You know, that typical horror trope. You know, always get so antsy and scared and nervous behind the vehicle, you just forget how to drive. It's seen all too well in horror movies. So Sydney seeks refuge inside the house, locking Stu and Randy outside as they accuse each other of being the killer. And then we see Billy hobbling down the steps, really seriously wounded, allows Randy inside before shooting him in the shoulder and revealing himself as the killer, where he says, "We all go a little mad sometimes." He's quoting Anthony Perkins, another meta reference in this movie, one of many. And like I said, I'll get to those in a second. And then Stu is revealed to be the accomplice as Sydney's running away. Stu blocks and he's like, "Surprise, Sydney," you know, like that. The voice changer is great. So Billy confesses that they had killed her mom because he discovered an affair that she was having with Billy's father and was responsible for his mother leaving. The two abducted her, Sydney's father, locked them in the basement, and were going to frame all the murders on her father as his, you know, as motive being father was going crazy on the anniversary of his wife being killed. So they're grabbing the knife, they're trying to stab each other, try to make it look like they're being attacked, and they're just hitting their stomachs all deep, and they're complaining to each other, "Oh, you hit too hard," or, you know. And then Stu with the line, "I'm getting woozy over here," you know, that line, because it's just a great, crazy, maniacal scene. Just one of the best in horror movies. So Gale interrupts everything, which gives Sydney a chance to incapacitate Billy and, quote unquote, kill Stu by dropping a television set on his head. Billy attempts to stab Sydney, but is shot by Gale. After Randy remarks that a horror film killer they revive for a final scene, that the killer always comes back for that one extra jump scare, and that's never fully dead. So as Billy's lying there, he makes like a quick motion gesture to get up, and boom, shot him. Sydney immediately shoots him in the head, killing him. As morning breaks, Sydney's father is rescued. Dewey is taken away in an ambulance, and you see Gale giving a news conference, a news report of what just transpired in Woodsboro. So yeah, just an excellent movie. So let's talk about some of the themes, some of the callbacks. So Scream is heavily influenced by and pays, like I said, many homages to the history of the horror genre. Like I said, there was a school janitor referencing Freddy Krueger. There was a cameo appearance by Linda Blair as a reporter, who was Regan in The Exorcist. And then the killer's talking about the plot from not watching the plot from prom night for advice. And then you have Randy in another meta reference giving the rules of the horror genre. You know, to survive, characters cannot sin by drinking, taking drugs, having sex. They can't say "I'll be right back" because you won't be back. I mean, they're watching Halloween in the movie. There's a scene in the movie where Tatum references something about, I'm going to simply paraphrase, but it's not like Wes Carpenter is directing the movie, so she's mixing up Wes Craven and John Carpenter and just calling it Wes Carpenter. Stu mentions the Candyman when they get back to school and they're at the lockers, about how Sydney is pretty much, dubbed Billy as the Candyman. I mean, this movie just started meta. I know the meta was really big in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and this movie just did so much more for the meta that we see in horror movies. You can even consider like Billy and Sydney's relationship were kind of similar. Thompson and Glenn, they had that similar look. It's, again, the legacy is there. Scream's remained an enduringly popular horror film and like I said, launched a successful film franchise. It is truly credited with reviving the horror genre, which, coming out of the 80s into the early 90s, kind of declined. We had the huge slasher era of the 80s, and then once the 90s hit, it kind of toned down a little bit. I firmly believe, it's my opinion, and I've heard a lot of people on other shows, Scream just hit the reset button, brought it all back, and launched everything forward. Without Scream, you wouldn't have I Know What You Did Last Summer. You wouldn't have Urban Legend. The sequels were fantastic. Although some would admit that maybe Scream 3 wasn't the greatest. Scream 2. Let me just rank them now then. So if I had to rank, I'd rank Scream 1. I'd go 1, 7. Then I'd go 6, 5, 4, 2, then 3. And then there's also a TV series, which, if we all remember, adopted this mass care. The first couple seasons, it only ran 3 seasons. It had this really, because they couldn't secure the rights to the mask, so we had this Scream mask the first couple seasons. It wasn't until season 3 when Roger Jackson came back, and then we ultimately got the Scream mask. Season 3 was the best season of the series by far. I thought it played up to the tone of the movies. It played up to the story of the movies, the characters, and then of course Ghostface just was really gruesome. Was really not vindictive, but he was so aggressive and so forceful in the TV show. It's definitely worth a look. I'm gonna link the IMDb's to the TV show and Scream in the description if you want to go check it out. I believe all the Screams are on HBO Max if you want to check it out. And then we have a possibility of Scream 7 next year. Scream 6, you thought once they started making these sequels that it was going to get dull and boring, and it kind of, Scream 3 kind of almost threw everything off the rails, which, to be honest, it did throw everything off the rails, but then it came right back to 4, and 4 just set everything back on motion, and then 5, and then 6 was incredible. Like I said, probably the second favorite in the series. I think I might have misspoke earlier and said 7 already. So it'd be 1, 6, 5, 4, 2, 3 for me. That's my ranking. What are your rankings? What's your thoughts on Scream? What are some of your favorite moments from Scream? Could it be possibly this scene in the beginning with Casey Becker, Drew Barrymore? Was that your favorite part of the movie? Was it the part when Billy's revealing that he's the killer and he's like, corn syrup, just like they used to make the blood in the movie Carrie? Like another meta reference, Carrie. Stay tuned. It just be on my last 14 I got coming out. Who knows? Or was it this scene when you have both Stu and Billy together? Billy Loomis again. Loomis, maybe a callback reference to Dr. Loomis from Michael Myers. Who knows? And then this is the scene like I was talking about when Sidney just got back after Billy got arrested, and she knocked Gail out. Not knocked her out, but knocked her down with a punch. And she's back at Tatum's house. She gets the phone call from Ghostface, who Tatum is the first one to call him Ghostface in the movie. So it was pretty ironic, pretty crazy that name stuck. And again, this is a picture that I made. Like I said, I'm trying to incorporate DadPooL into the movies that I'm reviewing. So this is my take on Ghostface and the kids. There's a little kid with a DadPooL shirt on, and I got both the old Scream mask from the TV series, and I got like the new mask on the belt buckle. So, and then again, bring it all back around. Day 17 of DadPooLoWeen. So I know I talked earlier about hitting the notification bell. Very important that you do, because I have a new series coming out, debuting I'm going to call it November 1st, just after DadPooLoWeen. It's called Horror Then and Now, where I compare and contrast and talk about original horror movies versus the remakes, reboots. And the first one I got coming up is Hellraiser 87 versus Hellraiser 2022. So again, hit that notification bell to know when this video goes live and when all my videos go live, and you'll never miss any of the content. You'll never miss any of the quick movie reviews of something that's something new that I watched, and I do a quick impromptu 5-10 minute review on it. But if you really want to know what's coming up before its release, is subscribe to my TikTok. I usually put a TikTok out the day before to let everybody know what that next movie is. So go hit the link in the description. Go follow me on TikTok. Share it out. I truly appreciate it. And then again, we got coming December 1st, we have the 25 days of Christmas horror, where each day I'll be talking about a holiday slasher or like a really dark themed Christmas movie. The list is crazy. There's some that you may expect and assume will be on that list, and there's others that found that going to be first time watches for me. So I'm so excited to do this. I'm so excited to keep this channel going, in despite of all the roadblocks that I've had. You know, I've moved on put some things in the rear view, but I'd be lying if I said that there aren't things that I do miss. But hopefully one day, as the world always, things always come full circle, they always get remedied. Things like someone said just recently, all things that are broken become fixed. Hopefully one day that'll be fixed and we can all laugh about it, and we can all share a stream about it, and we can all cover content about it and have fun. But yeah, I want to thank everyone who's believed in me to get through the shit that I've been dealing with, and to be honest, it's only getting more challenging, more work, and just more stressful and a little worse. But again, it's like Brodsky said in Jason X, it's going to take more than a poke in the ribs to put this old guy down. So it's going to take more than losing sight in my left eye or enduring headaches every day to put this guy down. So I appreciate you guys that are here and taking the journey with me. I truly appreciate it. I have no words to describe it, because I just feel honored to be able to have this platform, to be able to do these videos, and to know that someone's watching, someone is being affected by them, either going out and watching the movies, or they've already seen the movies and they're leaving comments below. So either way, I appreciate you. So I think that'll do it for today. Day 17, the movie Scream. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And if you've already seen it, go rewatch. Take a whole day and just binge the whole franchise. There's only 6 films. I'm telling you, watch the series as well. Yeah, again, it may start off a little crazy and slow the first couple seasons, but it seems like when it transitioned from MTV to VH1, that 3rd season is when things really felt like a Scream TV series should be, and what the characters should be, and what Ghostface should be. So, as I say always, go watch a movie. There's lots of apps out there that are free. I'll mention them again. There's Pluto TV. There's Tubi. There's Freevee. Go watch something that you love. Go watch something new, and let me know about it in the comments. And then lastly, just hug your loved ones. And until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, DadPooL out, saying I'll see you in the next video, and I love you.